Welcome back, race fans, to Rauscher Racing Weekly, where we've just gotten back from points race number 11, which is like the halfway mark to our point season. So, we've done a lot of racing. We still have a lot of racing to go. But it's, last time I was on the show, I said the heat's coming. Yeah, it's here. It's getting almost unbearable at the track. This week, the car count proved that. As we've been around the 200 car range, and I bet you we were maybe in the 90s this week.
Yeah.
If we were lucky. I don't know the official car count, but
yeah, the heat's definitely there. Seeing people that normally walk around in really nice fire suits when they're just wearing jeans and long sleeve shirts so they can take their shirts off when they're done.
Right.
You know, it's peak heat.
Yeah.
Now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be nasty from here on out until maybe the last couple of weeks. It might start to cool down, but it's still going to be in the 90s.
Yeah.
So,
but we were able to. Brent qualified not very good. We had a clutch issue,
right,
which we called on another guy. Again, he fixed Brent's motor for the 2-day, so he threw a spare clutch that we had in there. And he goes, "Oh, this one's not much better than the one I'm taking out, but it'll at least get you through the night."
Right, and it did. You know, when you're at the track and you've got to come up with a bush fix, you know, what really wasn't a bush fix. It was the proper parts, and you know, they were used. They weren't, you know, the greatest, but you know, we don't shift these carts. We lock them in one gear and go. So that saves us a ton of wear and tear on the clutches. So I mean, the clutch. I don't know. Evan just lost the clutch earlier this year in his car, and that's in an engine that's in a year, you know, 85. But who knows how long that clutch has been in there? We ran all Cycleland on it last year. He ran a ton of races at Red Bluff,
where you slipped the clutch a ton to get around that place.
Right, and now we're back at Cycleland again, and we finally wore one out. And who knows how many races were on it before then?
Yeah. So this clutch we threw in just to get through the night, and Brent went out for his heat race. He ended up having to start at the back, and he did pretty good. He went from starting the last row to finishing fourth in the heat race.
Right.
After dodging a spinning top.
Right.
That I thought for sure, oh, here we go. I was already making a list in my head of front end parts when Brent squeaked between him and the wall.
Right.
He lost a spot, but he got it back on the restart.
Yeah.
So he was able to start, I believe, fourth in the main.
Yeah.
He started fourth, and he put up a good fight. Possibly still the clutch a little bit, may have bit him, but he ended up finishing sixth.
Right.
So,
yeah, and it's, you know, the trying to set tire pressures for a track, because the track's getting dry now. I mean, it's
in a hurry.
After qualifying, after my boys pull off in the open class, which they work the track in, and then they get hot laps, and then the box stocks qualify. By then, it's already dry. Before we even hit the track again, you have to adjust tire pressures.
Yeah, and then Brent hits the track right after the opens.
Right.
And depending on if Evan was in the last group, there might be a group between Brent and Evan, or they might be back-to-back. And even if they're back-to-back, the track changed a ton between them getting off the track and Brent going on the track.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and last week we didn't go racing. We had a medical emergency with one of our pets. So unfortunately, last weekend you won't see us on the show from that one because we didn't get a chance to go. We had to take care of the animal. But this week you won't see Blake in the show because he graduated high school this week. So he graduated Friday night. They had Safe and Sober grad night where him and all of his classmates got to go out and they partied until like, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning. They actually went to Brainiacs. They rent out the whole building and they got to have fun and do their thing. And he told me that he was going to be too tired to race. And plus there was other graduation parties on Saturday. So Evan's engine is still, I'm not sure if it's in Idaho or Montana. It's somewhere over there with Straight Up Performance getting rebuilt. From what I understand, hopefully it'll be ready to come back home this week. So for last weekend's race, we stole the engine off of Blake's car, let his brother run it, and Evan doesn't have anything good to say about it. He's not a fan of his brother's motor. He says that his engine's older, like I mentioned before. It's an 85, where Blake's is like a 90 something, and Evans has more bottom end, so it can pull his heavier butt off the corner. Where Blake's, he says, has more top end, which honestly, I guess if you watch the two cars, that seems to be their two strong points. Watching the two, Evans really good off the bottom, and I think that's what helps him at Red Bluff.
Yeah,
It's a slow down, stop, turn the car, and go. Where Cycleland's more momentum, and I guess having the more top end engine will do that for you. But
driver preference. Not everybody likes the same stuff.
Right, exactly. So. Yeah. So with Evan trying to get used to it and only having one gear to pull it in, he didn't like where the shifter was at, and just trying to be comfortable with just a different engine can be hard for a driver. So he didn't qualify very good. I think he qualified 16th or 17th, which puts him dead last in his heat race, which Cycleland has now gone to a one and done. If you spin yourself out and bring out a caution, you're done.
Yep. In
the heat race, and even in the B main, one and done. So Evan, trying to drive harder, trying to catch up, ended up dumping himself in 3 and 4. So he was done.
Yeah, just an oops moment.
Right.
And also trying to get used to the motor that he's borrowing.
Right.
It's not, he doesn't know what it's going to do every time off the corner like it does with his motor. He knows.
Right. Yeah, everything on the thing's different. He gets in there and he goes, "Dad, the clutch is harder." Well, that means Blake has stiffer springs in the clutch. He goes, "Man, even the throttle pedal feels like it goes forever before it finally stops." Well, it's a different carburetor. So, I mean, it's the little things that you don't see behind the scenes, or even I don't feel working on it, because they look the same on the outside, but obviously on the inside they're completely different animals. Yeah. So, this little things that you have to adapt to go fast, and you don't get, I can't say you don't get, at Cycleland they don't get a bunch of practice. What do they get, 5-6 laps?
Yeah.
And they're done, so you have to really learn quick.
Yeah, and it's like back when we ran the 2-day show and we were hoping that Brent's motor was fixed. He went out and he mudded in with the opens.
Right.
So he was out there with Blake and Evan, and then he got hot laps. That's the only way you're going to get hot laps in a 250 is if you're willing to go mud pack.
Right.
And we seemed to have it fixed, so he was happy.
Right. And even when Brent's out there, he's trying to feel the engine. And he's got a lot running through his head. He's trying to feel, is it going when I pick up the throttle? Is it lacking? Is something slipping? Oh, yeah, I've got to hit this mark to get in the corner, or I'm not going to make it. I'm going to put it in the fence.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in these, kids' minds. And like I said, Brent's only, 11, Blake's 18, Evan's 15. And there's younger kids out there, 4 or 5 years old, and this is the stuff they're learning to adapt to.
Yeah. And the other thing Brent had to think about while out there hot lapping, he not only is he with much older people, he was between 2 veteran guys.
Right.
And he was hoping not to screw up and not only wreck himself, but also wreck somebody that's 3 times his age.
Right, exactly.
Which he was really happy when he pulled off the track, because he was actually starting to catch JoJo Owens running an open car.
Right, exactly. And just because you're underpowered doesn't mean you can't be fast.
Yeah, he goes, he wasn't running away from me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's true. And the guy behind him wasn't catching him.
Right, exactly.
I was also, we must be fixed. And he went out and he was able to qualify pretty good. And
right.
And then this weekend with the clutch issue.
Yeah.
So
they're race cars. If they're going to give you problems. Especially when we run 3 hours away from home.
Yeah.
With the 2-stroke, it's you got to jet everything. So when I fire the cars up here on the street, we pour oil out of the exhaust. We go down to Cycleland and we run the car for 5 minutes, and the exhaust is ashy.
Yeah.
And you get the same thing with the 4-stroke even. The elevation and the temperature changes we go through.
They're temperamental. They don't like it.
And who knows whatever else goes on inside the engine. That we don't see. They're temperamental.
Yep. They're just like women.
Yeah, I think that's why most cars have women names.
So let's check out this weekend and see how Brent and Evan did, since Blake was partying.
Yep.
Well, looks like just missing the 56 of Taylor Hall, not making the call for this one. Lights are out. We're going green this time off at turn number 4. Good start on the bottom of the racetrack for the 9C of Connor Bell. Bell leads down the back straightaway in front of Dalton Schrum in second. Jeremiah Gall runs third. Kinzerbell in the 4th spot. Good job so far up front by the 9C of Connor Bell. Connor looking for his first heat race win of the season. A young driver out of Bakersfield, California. Oh, look out in turn number 2. Kinzerbell does a 360, make it another one. Wowzers. Well, Kinzerbell gets an A for effort on that one. He tried and tried to keep it going, but spins to a stop, collects the 188 of Joey Stussy. All right, 6 laps down, 2 to go. Connor Bell, your leaders. We go back to green. Well, 94J, Jeremiah Gall struggled a little bit getting back up to speed. Looks like he's under power now as he runs in the 3rd spot. Here comes Brent Rauscher. Rauscher making some moves. He's into 4th after starting in the back row of this one. Working through 3 and 4 for the final time into the checkered flag, though. Connor Bell going to get the heat race victory in 9C, his first of the year. Dalton Schrum goes 2nd, Brent Rauscher 3rd, and Kinzerbell does not finish 4th. It's actually the 16 of Brent Rauscher, it looks like, that will finish in the 4th spot. So 94J Jeremiah Gall finishes in the 3rd spot. So it's Connor Bell, Dalton Schrum, Jeremiah Gall, and Brent Rauscher, your top 4 finishers. Moving now to our first of 2 open heat races. We'll have 2 6-car heat races scheduled. Lineup in heat race number 1 looks like this on the pole. In car number 14, it's Rowdy Gramps. Outside of Gramps, the number 95 of Josh Wooten. Second row, the 18P of Jack Phillips. And to the outside, starting 4th, the number 8 of Bryson Souza. Third and final row, the 85 of Nate Jones on the inside. And your final starter, the 07 of Evan Rauscher. Well, trying to signal the 14C of Colton Hunderman to pull to the infield. He is supposed to be in the next race. Colton Hunderman is scheduled to be on the pole of the 2nd heat race and made it out there with the first group. So they'll pull him to the infield, and he'll go out in the 2nd heat. So all 6 make the call. So I think the yellow light's out now. There should be a going green the next time around. Rowdy Gramps, Josh Wooten, Jack Phillips, Bryson Souza, Nate Jones, and Evan Rauscher, your 6-car field. Through turns 1 and 2, give the lead to Rowdy Gramps in number 14. Rowdy with 2 heat race wins this season. Josh Wooten running in the 2nd spot in number 95. Three laps in, 5 to go. It's Gramps, Wooten, Phillips, your top 3. Then Nate Jones in 4th, Bryson Souza 5th, and Evan Rauscher in the 6th spot. Josh Wooten trying to mount a charge here late in the running. He gets around the top side of the racetrack. Rowdy Gramps on the bottom. We got 2 laps to go in this one. Gramps looks to have a good enough advantage. Oh, we got one car parked over here in turn number 4. We're going to go yellow. We'll go yellow instead of seeing the white flag, as the 07 of Evan Rauscher has parked it in the 4th turn. So 07 Rauscher will go to the infield. We should be ready to go.
Hey guys, so I'm here to run you through my night for points race 11. First off, started out the day, it was like 109. It sucked a lot to be there. There wasn't that many cars. So our idea was that the track was going to stay pretty hooked up for most of the night, or at least like dry off really fast. It was either in between, depending on how much water they put on the track. And so we go out for hot laps, and I was 11th out of 17, so not too bad. The track was really slow compared to the last time we raced. And then we go out for qualifying. I messed up in turn 1, was trying to stay really low on the bottom, like right next to the muck, and accidentally got into it just a little bit too much, and decided to spin out. But besides that, I think we got 1 or 2 more laps after that, and I set down like a okay lap, it felt like. But then after coming in and we looked at the times, I ended up going 17th out of 17 cars. So that really sucked. I didn't really like hearing that, but that started me starting last in the heat race. And I was going, and for the first lap, I was doing all right. Kind of chose the wrong line in turn 1 and 2 and decided to pinch myself down, trying to get to the bottom. And then in turn 2, I forgot what I was doing, but I kind of like slid up though and burned the tires off. And then after that, the car just was really slow, and I was just searching all over the place for grip, trying to find the fast line, and ended up spinning out in 3 and 4. And they came out with a new rule: if you spin out by yourself in a heat race, then you're DQ'd for that race, so then they can get their races going on more. And so I got DQ'd, so I started dead last in the main. So after I came off the track, me and my dad, my uncle, we were talking, and we came to a conclusion that it was the tires that were probably the reason I was so slow. So thanks to my uncle, I got a new right rear, and we come back and we put it on, and we go out for the main event, and I started last. And on the first lap, I started on the bottom, and going into turn 1, a couple cars, I think it was like 5 cars or something like that, got tangled up. So I gotta get like 5 free positions. And after that, only one of the cars that got in that crash passed me back. And then I passed a few cars, I think, just run the high side. That was probably like the best race I've ever ran, running the high side. I was actually keeping up with the fast guys, it felt like. So hopefully we'll get my engines back from the SUP guy up in Montana, our engine builder, and hopefully we'll be able to come out and race points race number 11.
Unable to make the call. Green is out. We're underway. Dalton Schrum, your leader on lap number 1 in front of Jet Yantis. New leader at the front of the field, Jet Yantis, taking the lead away from Dalton Schrum. Yantis to the lead in the 4-car. Jet Yantis in front of Dalton Schrum. Connor Bell in 3rd, Jackson Hall in 4th, and Eric Botello up to the 5th spot. Jet continuing to lead the way in this one. The 4-car looking for his 6th win of the season. If he can get it tonight, we got a car around in turns 1 and 2, the 56. 56 of Taylor Hall around. So 8 laps in the books. Jet Yantis, your race leader. All right, lights are out. Ready to go back to green. 8 laps completed. 12 laps to go. Boy, the field allowed Jet Yantis to have a large advantage coming to the restart zone. Yantis had about 3 car lengths over the 2nd place coming to the stripe, just because 2nd place would not suck back up to the rear bumper. Jackson Hall doing a good job in the 2nd spot in car 75. We got a car around in turn number 4. It's the 56 of Taylor Hall, and we go yellow. Troubles also for the 57 of Jake Nuxel. Looks like problems with the right rear of that car. Nuxel pulled to the infield. And steering wheel off for the 57. So 11 laps in, 9 laps to go. They tow the 56 of Taylor Hall to the infield. With 9 laps to go, Jet Yantis your leader. Jackson Hall in second. Eric Botello running in the third spot. Then Dalton Schrum fourth and Connor Bell in the fifth position. Back underway with Jet Yantis leading. Eric Botello trying to reel in the 75 at Jackson Hall. Grayson Gramps up into the top 5 now in the 8 car. He goes by the 9C of Connor Bell. Now Gramps sets his sights on the 8S of Dalton Schrum. Meanwhile, the 75 of Jackson Hall may have found something. He closes in on the 4 of Jet Yantis for the race lead. Where did this come from? Jackson Hall was a box stock main event winner earlier this season. Now he's trying to get himself a 250 win, chasing down the 4 of Jet Yantis. Jet goes down to the bottom to protect. Jackson still looks to be quicker. Can he get there? Oh, he gives him a shot in the shorts off of turn number 2. Jackson Hall all over Jet Yantis as they battle for the lead with 3 laps to go now. Jackson trying to be nice and smooth in that 75 car. He'll look to the outside off of turn number 4, nearly side by side with 2 to go. Jet Yantis looking for win number 6. Jackson Hall looking for his first career 250 win. To the inside, he's going to slide up the racetrack at the white flag. New leader with 1 lap to go. Jackson Hall to the lead. Here comes Jet back to his inside. They're side by side down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3 for the final time. And off the 4th turn. Who's it going to be? To the stripe. Jet Yantis gets the victory. Yantis by 28 1/1000ths of a second gets the victory over Jackson Hall. A valiant effort by the young man in the 75 car to try and get his first career win in the 250 class. Not able to do it, though, as Jet Yantis, for the 6th time this season, is triumphant. Eric Botello gets the 3rd position, followed by Racing Gramps 4th, Dalton Schrum 5th, Brent Rauscher in 6th, Connor Bell in 7th, Jeremiah Gall 8th, Casey Nystrom 9th, and Kaylee Burgess in 10th. So up next should be our Open A main event as we see our 250 cars clearing the scales. Jet Yantis will roll by us on the front straightaway in the number 4 car. A 6-time main event winner now in 10 races for that number 4 car. He's having himself a great season. So our Open A main event getting set to roll onto the racing surface. Your starting lineup for tonight's Open feature looks like this on the pole. in car number 14, it will be Rowdy Gramps. And to his outside in the 14C, it's Colton Hunderman, a pair of 14 cars on the front row here tonight. Second row on the inside will be the 18P of Jack Phillips. Outside of Phillips, starting fourth, the number 9 of Riley Clem. Third row, well, it should be an interesting one. On the inside, rolling off fifth, the 3C of Casey Schmitz. And to his outside, piloting the number 6 here this evening, it's John Michael Bunch. Fourth row on the inside, the number 2 of Garrett Brown. Outside of Brown in the number 9L, it's Luke Hayes. Row 5 on the inside, 81 of Keegan Medeiros. Outside of Medeiros, the 01 of Carson Souza. Sixth row, 95, Josh Wooten. Outside of Wooten, the 24 of Alex Fowler. Seventh row, 8 of Bryson Souza and the 07H of Travis Henry. Eighth row, 85 of Nate Jones and the 23K of Aaron Mosier. And your final row, the 07 of Evan Rauscher and the 11 VS Junior of Jaden Bunch. Lights are out. We are set to go green out of turn number 4. Rowdy Gramps, Colton Hunderman, a pair of young guns on the front row of this one as we're underway. Oh, Garrett Brown, Luke Hayes, and others tangle in turns 1 and 2. We'll come back around to the yellow flag. We got 4 of them parked. That one started with Garrett Brown and Luke Hayes getting together. So Luke Hayes, Carson Souza, Travis Henry, and the 23K of Aaron Mosier all involved in that. Garrett Brown falls all the way to the back of the field. A tough break for him. He'll have to rebound here. Rowdy Gramps, your early race leader, in front of Jack Phillips and Casey Schmitz. Riley Clem is 4th. And the 14C of Colton Hunderman is 5th. So officials towing the 9L of Luke Hayes off the racetrack. That'll be the end of his night. We saw him walk to the infield. Tough way to end the night on the opening lap of a 25-lap main event. So we lose Carson Souza, Travis Henry, and Luke Hayes on the opening lap of our 25-lap feature. They're all on the infield now. All right, lights are out, ready to go back to green with Rowdy Gramps leading the way in car number 14. Here we go. Gramps goes to the top. Jack Phillips takes the lead off of turn number 2. Gramps trying to drive back under him. They've got Casey Schmitz behind them. Can't fool around too much. The 3C will blow their doors off. They continue to go at it. Can't decide who wants to lead it. Here comes Schmitz down the back straightaway, making a 3-horse race. Who's going to lead off at turn number 4? Give it to Jack Phillips by a nose as they cross the stripe. Phillips, Gramps, Schmitz. Now Schmitz to the inside of Gramps for the second spot. Rolling right around the bottom of the racetrack. He'll take the position. Jack Phillips looking for his first career win during a points race. He won back-to-back features during the twin features at awards night last season. He leads right now in front of Casey Schmitz. Schmitz closing in. He'll have to drift up off the bottom of the racetrack, try and find a different way by the 18P. Rowdy Gramps up top, got the 14 wound up like a rubber band, trying to track your leaders back down. It's Phillips, Schmitz, Gramps, your top 3. Then the 6 of John Michael Bunch in 4th. Colton Hunderman runs in the 5th spot. Eight laps completed. Rowdy Gramps not giving up on the top side of the racetrack. Now Casey Schmitz joins him up on the top side. He'll go back to the bottom in 1 and 2. Follows the 18P of Phillips. Your top 2 to the top, down in 3 and 4. Rowdy Gramps through the middle. We've got 10 laps down. And Jack Phillips has opened up the lead. 0.6 of a second was the lead the last time by. This time Schmitz loses some more ground. About halfway through this one now. 12 laps in. On the back straightaway, we'll cross the halfway mark. Slow car right in front of your leader, the 07 Rauscher slows. See if he can get to the bottom of the racetrack. He does. Can he get to the infield? We'll stay green. Good job, Evan Rauscher, to make his way to the infield. Here comes Casey Schmitz on the charge as he tries to reel in the 18P of Jack Phillips. Fastest lap of the race was turned by Casey Schmitz the last time by. This time we'll have 10 laps to go. 10 laps remaining for Jack Phillips, but he's got company at the front of the field. Those two have opened it up over the 14 of Rowdy Gramps in 3rd. Jack up top. Casey on the bottom of the racetrack. They both go to the bottom down here in 1 and 2. Oh man, Casey Schmitz just waiting for the moment. Oh, I think the 18 just broke. The 18 breaks out of the lead. Oh, my word. Oh, big crash for John Bunch in turn 1. Bunch into the wall hard, nearly went upside down and comes to a rest on all fours after a heavy impact. Looks like signaling it. So it looks to be okay down there, but tough break as we lose 2 of our top 5 runners in 1 lap. Jack Phillips breaks out of the lead in turn number 1. And then heading into the corner, the 6 smokes the fence and nearly goes on his lid. And he'll take it to the infield. Looks like his night is completed as well. So with 18 laps complete, we've got 7 laps remaining. Casey Schmitz inherits the lead in car number 3C. Schmitz in search of his 7th victory of the season. Casey Schmitz in search of his 7th win of the season. It's been since 2015 since we've seen a driver win at least 7 main events. Holly Shelton won 8 A-mains back in the 2015 season. I don't think that number is going to stand for long as Schmitz has just been on a tear this season. On the restart, Rowdy Gramps breaks down the back straightaway. Evasive action to the infield. We're going to stay green as we got Riley Clem now in second. Schmitz and Clem, your top two. Here comes Garrett Brown. He went to the back early in the race. He's puking out the side of the 2-car, it looked like. To take a closer look and see what exactly that was as we go yellow. Oh, yeah. Something puking out the side of the 2-car, Garrett Brown.
Welcome back to Mom's Corner. I'm Samantha Rauscher.
And I'm Kim Rauscher.
And this weekend you saw Brent and Evan racing. Blake, like we kind of touched on, he graduated high school Friday, so he went to Safe Grad and, just enjoyed that 72 hours of being a senior for the last minute, I think.
Yeah, Blake wanted to race. I think he told us,
yeah.
all of this time for, the last couple of months,
yeah.
He was like, I'm going to go to sober grad night. We knew it was a 7 o'clock
far-fetched.
in the morning thing. And then he was like, yeah, I'm going to sleep all the way to the track. I think it was probably a week ago, reality hit. Oh, I just don't think I can do it. So, yeah, he did. He enjoyed going out with his friends. Saturday was spent at all the grad parties. They hit several. His girlfriend's birthday. She just turned 18. Mm-hmm. So he had a really good time. And then Sunday, not only Father's Day that we got to celebrate, but we did celebrate Blake graduating high school. We have to kind of work our schedules with parties, birthdays, those big kinds of things around racing. So they kind of had to share Father's Day with Blake. I think they enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think that scheduling thing is just, it really depends on who we're celebrating and the what. If it's, I don't know, our wedding anniversaries, it's only 2 people, us and our husband, right? And so we'll cram that in a midweek dinner. But I think we've celebrated a lot of birthdays at the track just because that's the way it falls. Mm-hmm. Graduation this year, I think it worked out to have Blake on Sunday actually because we had racing Saturday, but a lot of the fellow graduates had their party, so it allowed him to go do all that. And then Sunday he just had no care in the world except his own party, and that was pretty cool. Friday was actually graduation, and it was one of those things, we didn't get done until 9:10. We were home. We were all loaded and stuff. It was just taxing. It's just the time. There's only so many hours in the day, so you try to plan it all. We know graduation's coming. It's one of those only things, so we loaded a day early this week. We loaded actually on Wednesday. So that we could all be ready to go Friday to graduation. Yeah,
this week was really crazy. Evan's engine's still out. So we did an engine swap so that he actually ran Blake's engine. So we put that on his car. So we had that going. So we had, it's been crazy. So the dog's still healing. And then you've got all this stuff going on. And we don't know what's going on with the engine. We're kind of waiting to see. There was a couple of different routes we could take fixing it. So yeah, I think we finished putting the engine on and they loaded within hours. So it has been a crazy week. And on top of all that, just all the pre-graduation things, the school out there had, their awards night and they had a baccalaureate and all that kind of stuff pre-leading to all of this graduation last Friday. So,
and we're all still working full-time jobs. So
yes,
it was one of those things, so we're trying to go to work. We're trying to get race cars ready. We're trying to participate, make sure that we went to the last game, went to any senior stuff. COVID's not completely gone in every building, right? And so, how many people can attend that, and how many people, and right down to the wire, we weren't sure how many people could go to graduation, so who's going to take what and who's going to do what, so a few weeks prior, I think 2 weeks prior, we really knew we could all go. And
they opened it up. We were in California, in the county we are in, they were limited to 10 originally. Makes it really hard. Granddaughter is counted as a person, even though she is not taking a seat. So we were really trying to figure out who can go, and it's really hard to choose who's going to that and not knowing, like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it was really difficult. But yes, they did open it up, 10 people on the floor, and then everybody else up in the grandstand, or then the bleachers there at the school. So made it really nice.
Yeah. So for racing, of course, Kim and I stayed home so that we could get graduation ready, go shopping, get food, all that kind of stuff. And so for myself, we put the tent up. I know you went to the grocery store, then we decorated, and then we watched Fast Four. Like, we tried to get it done so we could watch Fast Four and see them race. So it was just one of those, we're trying to balance. We can't be in two places. We have kids all over the place. It's a
and I didn't get to watch Fast Four. This time I got to watch via the race monitor. So all I can see is their times and things moving. I wasn't at home because my daughter had to go back to the town. I think I worked harder getting ready for this party than I do going on a race every week. It was actually really crazy.
We kind of have that down to a science. We know what goes. We know how to get it there.
Yeah.
So when we have a party,
and there's a little downtime at the track, you know, like we can kind of relax. And it was really busy.
So that was points race 11. Yeah, so we have 11 more. We are halfway through the summer season, which is exciting. I think we're getting into this next week will be our last single race for a while, and then we're going into doubles. So those are
all of July. I think all of the July races are double races.
Yep. Those are a little taxing. You guys will see different emotion if it's racetrack filmed.
Yeah, definitely. As for our end, we're still up in the air.
Yeah.
We don't have an engine back. David and I have always had an issue with one kid going to the track and the other one not going to the track. So we'll see what's going on with us this week. We don't know. The engine's supposed to be done Wednesday. I don't know if they're shipping it on Wednesday or Thursday. So if they ship it on Thursday, Evan is out an engine. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Blake's working. It's just right now, our end is really up in the air.
Yep.
Which happens.
It does. That is life and life of racing. So tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to Rauscher Racing's Facebook page, CSTV, and Rauscher Motorsports on YouTube.